There are reportedly 600 million uploaded stories, and she's here. My cat. Hey everyone, it's Emily. Happy New Year. Welcome back to the cluster gem that is my channel. A little over a month ago, I was just casually perusing Twitter, as you do as a terminally online millennial, right? And I saw a tweet that caught my eye. It was retweeted onto my timeline. It caught my eye and it made me feel many different feelings in succession. So the tweet was from Popcrave, and they tweeted, ViacomCBS has announced its partnership with Wattpad, using the website to mine for stories to adapt into original series for streaming services like Paramount Plus, Verge reports. The company hopes that this will help them better appeal to Gen Z and millennial audiences. And, as you can tell from the amount of quote retweets, I don't think I'm the only one who had some things to say about it. My initial thoughts were, one, why Wattpad and not AO3? And two, are they just openly stealing people's writing and like not giving them credit or money for it? I don't understand. I tweeted my thoughts and someone responded to me, not anyone that was following me, but they were following the story. And they told me that Wattpad has more original content than AO3, which made me think, and really think, because my preconceived notions of Wattpad is that it's a site that is mainly used for fan fiction, but not just any fan fiction, lower quality fan fiction that mainly revolves around real people. And that's the idea that I had of Wattpad as someone who has never read a story on Wattpad myself. It's just what I've heard from others, as well as being an avid watcher of everything YouTube. A lot of Wattpad fanfiction is related to the YouTuber sphere. It's written about YouTubers. I don't read them, just so you know. I may or may not have mentioned this on the channel before, but I am not a huge fan of RPF, which stands for Real People Fiction, or RPS, Real People Shipping in general. I just, it gets very toxic very easily, more often than not. There are really only a few occasions that I have seen where people don't take things too far into harassing people in real life over these relationships or relationships that they have with other people in their lives. I've seen shippers go way too far, sending death threats and hate to the partners of the people that they ship, for getting in the way of their ship. It's usually not great. It's really not. Everyone who is an RPS shipper is not the same, blah, 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 all these things. I'm not trying to generalize, but it happens way more often than it should. So, that's not really relevant to the topic at hand. I did just want to make that disclaimer out there. I don't participate in RPS or RPF. It did get me thinking though, since RPF is technically not about copyrighted material, it's about real people. Does it count as original work? I don't know. I couldn't get really an answer on that. Not that Wattpad is only used for RPF. It's not. Though that is something that I did think that it was originally. But regardless, this person did make me think about these preconceived notions, and I thought I would do a little bit of research. I wanted to know if I was wrong about Wattpad, and if I was wrong about the assumption that Viacom would just be straight up stealing people's ideas and using them as their own. So I did do some searching, and I found that I was wrong, but also kind of right. When it comes to my preconceived notions of Wattpad, I mean, I can't really prove those to be right or wrong in terms of the idea of whether Wattpad has quality content is subjective, of course. So I'm just not going to read many Wattpad fics. I've not read one, and I'm not going to read any. So I'm not going to debate whether it is quality content or not, especially since you can't really debate that in any way anyways, because it is subjective. But I did look around the site to see what was going on the site, to see whether it was just for fan fiction, or, how much fan fiction is there, and blah, blah, blah. So, while perusing the site, I did notice that there is a separate category for fan fiction, which does lend to the idea that there is more original fiction than I once thought. If there's just one category for fan fiction specifically, and then there's all of these other categories for other original fiction, then that makes sense. It makes sense to, obviously some fan fiction can fall into all of those other categories as well, like romance is a category, but fan fiction can be romance as well, so there probably is some sort of overlap. But I did find a lot of original fiction that was on there. I don't know if that original fiction is actually not based on something fictional or real people. I don't know. I'm not going to read the stories. So, but there was a lot, and I'm sure that there's a lot of original fiction. I'm not trying to discount that. There are reportedly 600 million uploaded stories to Wattpad as of 2020. And when I clicked to browse the fanfiction category, the top tags were all of real people except the anime category. And the top tags in that were, of course, K-pop stars and Minecraft YouTubers. So I was right about the type of fanfiction being posted on the site, so there's that. From what I can tell, looking at the site in a very peripheral way, speaking as a millennial as well, obviously I would prefer AO3 and even fanfiction.net. My cat is purring over here, so if you can hear her, sorry, she won't leave me alone. But I do think that as someone who once considered herself a writer, writing is writing, and a platform is a platform. There will be great works of fiction on Wattpad, just like there will be really not so great works of fiction that come from AO3. And I'm not here to shame anyone for expressing themselves through writing on the internet. You do you. I do think that it is somewhat generational. I do think that Gen Z tend to read Wattpad as opposed to AO3, and millennials the opposite, So I don't know why or what the reason is. Regardless, I'm sure there's many people who are Gen Z that read AO3, and there's probably many millennials that read Wattpad stories. I don't know, and good for whoever is doing whatever they want. I don't care. I think if people are writing stories and posting them for free on the internet, that there is no reason that we should be shaming them. Some people are just starting out. Some people have been writing for a long time, but no matter what, the important thing is that people are having fun and expressing what they want to express. Just let people write what they want. For some people, this is all that they have as an outlet, and it's important that they have that. So that person that replied to me on Twitter was right. There is much more original fiction on Wattpad than AO3, because AO3 is solely for fan fiction. As for whether or not Viacom is just stealing people's stories and not crediting or paying them, I was surprisingly wrong about that too. Thankfully, there is some semblance of integrity left in this capitalist hellscape. Possibly. I guess only time will actually tell. But Wattpad did release this thread explaining more about the partnership and how it's actually going to work. They said, "We're joining forces with ViacomCBS to bring stories from some of Wattpad's most talented and creative voices to new formats and platforms, including Paramount+. Some of you may be wondering how the process of adapting Wattpad stories works, so let's break it down. Our editorial team is always hunting for original, undiscovered, and diverse voices to bring to our partners. They use extensive data and audience insights to find the best and brightest stories that will resonate with audiences around the world. No stories are adapted without the expressed and enthusiastic permission of the writer. They own all the rights to the content they create and post on Wattpad. This is an important part of our terms of service and will not change. The adaptation process only begins once the writer agrees. We work collaboratively with them to ensure their career and priorities are carefully considered, that they are financially compensated for their work, and more. This partnership is just one of many that help writers earn money on and off Wattpad. We're already working with writers to adapt more than 100 Wattpad stories around the world, and we're excited to see that number grow. For writers hoping to have their work discovered, keep sharing your stories, engaging with readers, and being active on Wattpad. There's a bright future ahead of you, and we can't wait to help you create more opportunities to help you earn money and elevate your creativity. So it does look like the agreement would be that the writers are going to get compensated and credited for their work, which is amazing. Overall, I think that that's a really good thing. Production companies, while surely doing it for selfish business reasons, going straight to their target audience as their source material makes a lot of sense. Who knows what they want to watch more than those people that they're targeting? And as long as people are not being taken advantage of, that's sounds pretty great to me. Obviously, only time will tell whether they actually do get taken advantage of. One of the main things I am concerned about is that a lot of these people that they're contacting don't actually have managers or agents who are going to be looking out for their careers and being an advocate for them. Not that managers and agents actually do have the creator's best interests at heart all the time, but that does usually help a little bit. So that is one thing that I am worried about, but it could very well be a very good thing overall for usually young creators, but really any creator who is, just writing and wanting their story to be told in an even bigger capacity. So that would be really cool. Interestingly enough, they have partnered with other studios in the past to create a couple movies that I've seen. I haven't seen the movies, but I've seen that they've created them, and they were Wattpad original stories. Once again, I'm not here to say one thing or another about the quality of those movies or the stories that they were adapted from. I have not read nor watched. I think a lot of people, when they think about fan fiction being adapted into, and it's not just fan fiction, obviously, but when they think about like Wattpad stories being adapted into, movies and TV shows, they're thinking of the same thing that I did, which was like, very much kind of like self-insert almost fiction, which, and you could argue a lot of things are self-insert, in a lot of things that people enjoy are self-insert in a way, and realistically we're all projecting our own thoughts and feelings and emotions onto everything that we watch. That's just true. So anyway, but a lot of people think about like 50 Shades of Grey, right, which I believe was not great. I did not watch it. I read like parts of it, that people were making fun of online. And I didn't enjoy. It's not really my thing, but it was based on a Twilight fanfiction that was posted on fanfiction.net. So, it's not the first of its kind, right? This whole thing is not the first of its kind, but we'll see. We'll have to see. Everything in the beginning is going to be not so great. You know what I mean? Like, there are growing pains in the beginning of everything. So if we get some really not so great content in the beginning, and then eventually, a great piece of media comes out of this whole thing, then that's amazing. And who knows, that might have already happened and I'm not going to watch the movies. But anyways, I am all for writers, young and old and everywhere in between, getting their stuff made and getting paid for it. So that's really where I land on this. And that's all I have to say today. What do you think about the partnership? Do you read stories on Wattpad or AO3? Both? Neither? Let me know in the comments below. I am intrigued to hear about this from other people. And press the like button if you like the video, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. I will be posting every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern this year. I am on a set schedule and I am determined. Podcasts are every other Friday, and a scripted video like this one is on the opposite Fridays. So there should be lots to come. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. And that's a threat.